Well, hi to my YouTube subscribers. Well, those of you who've been following my videos know that lately I've been encouraging people visiting Thailand to skip the visa and just come on a 45-day visa exemption. Why? Well, with a visa, you get stamped for 60 days on entry. With the visa exemption, you get stamped for 45 days. Well, that's only a 15-day difference. And with either, you can extend for 30 days. For many people, the difference between 90 days and 75 days may not be significant. The visa exemption is free, while a visa will cost you $40. The visa application requires a significant amount of effort, as some of you know, and some embassies and consulates, for example the LA consulate and the Ottawa embassy, have been taking well more than 20 business days to process visa applications. So if a visa exemption is supported for your country, then this is really something to consider. The requirements to enter this way are really quite simple. Now see the description of this video for a link to the official list of countries for which Thai visa exemption is supported, and these sites also describe some of the regulations. So what do you need when you actually arrive at the airport in Thailand? Well, first, you need a valid passport from a country for which visa exemption is supported. The passport must have at least one blank page for stamps, and it must not expire within the next 6 months. Second, you'll need the boarding pass for the flight on which you just arrived, or similar documentation might be required if you arrive by land or sea. Third, you need a return or onward ticket for a destination outside of Thailand, dated within 75 days of your arrival. Immigration assumes that you'll get a 30-day extension on your 45-day visa exemption stamp. Now, immigration may or may not look at this return or onward ticket. Fourth, you'll want to have the equivalent of 20,000 baht, or about $560 US. The requirement is 40,000 baht for a family. The money can be in your own currency, and you can show credit cards to show that you have this. You might want to carry a recent bank statement. Few people are asked for this, but it's possible that you might be asked, so you'll want to be prepared. And fifth, you may be asked for proof that you have a hotel or hostel reservation, or proof of where you're staying if you're staying at a private residence. You only need to have a booking for one night. Lately, I don't think immigration officials have been checking for this, but you might be asked, and you should be prepared. You can book directly with a hotel or use a service like hotels.com or booking.com. Only a one-night booking is needed. Just have the reservation handy in case you're asked by immigration. Well, those are the 5 basic requirements. Now, the return or onward ticket requirement might be annoying for some people. Many people are not sure when they'll return to their home country, and it's a risk to invest in an expensive return ticket, say from Thailand back to the US, when you don't know your exact plans. Now, you could get a round-trip ticket from an airline like Delta that allows you to change the date of your return without a penalty. Keep in mind, while there's no change fee, you might pay more if the fare for your new ticket is higher. Still, this is generally a good way to go. Just make sure your ticket does qualify for the no change fee policy. Of course, you could get a ticket that allows changes or refunds, but such tickets are expensive. If you have frequent flyer miles, you could use your miles to buy a separate return ticket. You could then return the miles if you don't use the ticket or if you need to get a ticket for a different date. Many people, however, enter Thailand without a return ticket to their home country. Instead, they get an onward ticket from Thailand to some other country. Usually it's a neighboring country like Malaysia, Cambodia, or Vietnam. Now, I've generally been able to find a ticket on kayak.com for around $60 US. If you don't use the ticket, you can just throw it away. Now, if you're entering on a visa exemption, the onward ticket should be dated within 75 days of your arrival to meet immigration requirements. There might be, however, a good reason to have the onward ticket dated within 45 days of your arrival. This is because some airlines will sometimes check your onward ticket before you board your flight to Thailand, and sometimes They'll require that the onward or return ticket be dated within 45 days of your arrival. That is, they don't take into account that you might get a 30-day extension. Their requirement is stricter than Thai immigration. Now, I've had reports of this from Japan Airlines and Air Canada, but these airlines are not consistent in their application of this rule. So one solution is just to check with your airline ahead of time and understand exactly whether they'll check your return onward ticket and what departure date they expect to see on the ticket. Another solution is to get a cheap throwaway onward ticket that meets the strictest requirement, that is the 45-day requirement, so you don't have to worry. For this, you would want a ticket from Thailand to anywhere outside of Thailand, departing from Thailand within 45 days of your arrival in Thailand. As I said, I can generally buy a ticket like this on kayak.com for around $60. But now, there's a much better solution. Just go to bookonwardticket.com. For $10, you can get exactly the onward ticket you need. The ticket is perfectly legitimate and the reservation can be found on the airline website. However, the ticket vanishes 14 days after purchase, so you can't actually use it. It's a true throwaway ticket. So for $10, you can have total peace of mind when entering Thailand on a visa exemption. So I recommend meeting the return or onward ticket requirement by doing this. Why risk getting stuck at the airport when you can prevent the problem entirely by spending $10? So I've made a whole video on how to get your return or onward ticket using bookonwardticket.com. So see a super hack for your return or onward ticket for Thai visa or visa exemption, and you'll find a link in the description. I highly recommend watching this video. Now, I have some other videos on the requirement for return onward tickets, and you'll find those also in the description. Okay, well, let's take a quick break. I've been using this channel to advertise my novel, The Vientiane Affair. The book has love, espionage, sex, some pretty good sex, murder, history, and politics. I think the book is a great read, but an even better listen. I have some promo codes that I can give out for people willing to review the book on audible.com. You get the audiobook for free from Audible. Now, I have only a limited number of these promo codes, so please be willing to review the book if you like it. See the description of this video for simple instructions on how to get your promo code. And thanks in advance if you're willing to do this. Now, let's get back to your visa exemption. Now, you can enter Thailand and re-enter Thailand as many times as you want on visa exemptions, except that you're limited to 2 visa exemptions per year when entering by land or sea. So in general, you can stay as long as you want in Thailand by leaving Thailand, say to a neighboring country, and re-entering on a visa exemption. You just need to leave and re-enter Thailand every 75 days. That's your 45-day visa exemption stamp when you enter, plus the additional 30 days you get when you obtain an extension of your visa exemption at a local immigration office once you reach Thailand. Now, I made a video on how to get your visa extension once you're in Thailand. It's called the Absolutely Complete Guide to Obtaining Your Thai Tourist Visa Extension, and you can find a link to that in the description. Now, there's now also an online process for getting a visa extension, but for various reasons, I'm not currently recommending this. But I have a link to a video describing this in the description. Now, using visa exemptions is a cost-effective way to remain in Thailand, as entering on a visa exemption costs nothing. You pay only 1,900 baht when you get the 30-day visa extension. It's really quite a good deal. Some people coming to Thailand prefer to have a real paper visa in hand when they arrive. They feel like it's a risk to arrive in Thailand and face the possibility of being refused entry on a visa exemption. Now, I've asked many times on my channel about people being denied visa exemptions when they meet all the requirements described in the video. I've not had any reports of this. Now, if you've had some past record of wrongdoing, or you've had a visa overstay in Thailand in the past, immigration officials might discover this in their database when you try to enter, and then you'll be denied entry. But I suspect you'd know if you're going to have such a problem. For the average traveler, it's extremely unlikely that you would be denied admission to Thailand when you meet the simple requirements described here for a visa exemption. So I can understand why some people still prefer having a printed visa in hand when they enter. But I believe that the risk of being denied a visa exemption on arrival is extremely small. So my recommendation is to come on a visa exemption unless you have a good reason to do otherwise. Now, it used to be very common to enter Thailand on an exemption, but COVID restrictions changed this. Now that COVID restrictions have ended, it's taking some time for people to switch back to using the visa exemption scheme. But with the visa exemption being expanded to 45 days, plus the 30-day extension, it's now a more attractive option than ever. So let's summarize what you need to enter on a visa exemption. First, you need to come from a country for which the visa exemption is supported. You need to have a passport with at least one blank page for stamps and at least 6 months before expiration. You need to have the boarding pass for the flight on which you just arrived. You need a hotel reservation for at least one night, although you might not be asked to show it. You want to have a return or onward ticket for a date within 75 days of your arrival. But remember that your airline might want the date to be within 45 days of your arrival. Check with your airline or get a ticket that complies with the 45-day requirement. For $10, you can get a throwaway ticket from bookonwardticket.com that meets this requirement. Well worth the investment to ensure a smooth trip and have the equivalent of 20,000 baht or 40,000 baht for a family. You can meet that requirement with cash in your own currency, credit cards, or a bank statement. It's as simple as that. Now, I wanted this video to be comprehensive, so if you find that any requirements are missing, please make a comment and definitely feel free to ask questions. So I hope this has been helpful, and if you're interested in one of the promo codes for my audiobook, please let me know. See you next time.